Archives of IT. archivesit.org.uk.
Tech people and their first computer encounter. The career direction of many people in tech was influenced by an early encounter with a computer. For many of our interviewees, it was unforgettable.
Anne Moffatt worked with Dame Stephanie Shirley at Freelance Programmers before emigrating to Australia and establishing herself as one of the preeminent women of the industry there. Anne got her first programming job by reading all the computer books in the University of London Library and looked after Tim Berners-Lee in his early years.
My boyfriend worked for Kodak, and he said there was a job advert on their notice board wanting somebody with a maths degree to train to be a computer programmer. And I'd actually sort of got excited about computers, and I'd read a little bit about them, and I knew they weren't this sort of mechanical brain that the newspapers said. So I read all the books in our local Harrow library on computers, and there were 3 books. I read those. And then I got onto London University and I asked them for all the books they had on computers. And they gave me they sent me all their books, and there was 10. So I'd read 13 books on computers. That's all I'd read. So I said to my boyfriend, well, I haven't got a maths degree. And he said, yes, but you've read all those books about computers. Surely that'll do. And I thought, oh, well, I'll apply. So I applied. I was interviewed by 9 people. And when I told them I'd read books on computers, all they did, instead of interviewing me, they just argued between themselves about which books they'd read and which books I'd read, and so on and so on. And they asked me a couple of questions and said, well, subject to a medical test, I could have the job. Then came the day in April 1959, when I was told I would go and go on a course at Ferranti Computers to learn about programming and computing. An interesting thing to me was my tutor was Conway Berners-Lee, who's the father of Tim Berners-Lee, who invented the World Wide Web. Little Tim was 4, and his mum was just about to have another baby. So Tim got brought to the class, and I, being the only woman in the class, had to sit at the back and keep Tim quiet while the class was on. So you see, I've held the hand that wrote the World Wide Web, and that makes me very proud.
If you enjoyed this, find out more. Read and hear more stories from people of the industry at
Archives of IT. archivesit.org.uk.